Good evening, friends. Intro, the medical headlines you cannot miss today. Welcome back to the channel. Today is Saturday, August 8, 2026, and we are breaking down a massive day in medicine, pharmaceutical breakthroughs, and global healthcare policies. If you want to stay ahead of the curve on human health, you are in the exact right place. In today's deep dive, we are uncovering a revolutionary, newly granted FDA fast-track designation for a drug combination that is completely shifting the paradigm for advanced ovarian cancer treatment. We will also head over to the India Medical Device 2026 conference in New Delhi, where groundbreaking decisions are being made to standardize AI in healthcare and crack down on unregulated medical device engineering. Plus, we have an urgent global warning from the World Health Organization regarding a massive, hidden economic and psychological crisis hitting families dealing with cancer. And for our medical students and professionals tuning in, the chaos surrounding the NEET UG 2026 medical counseling has reached a boiling point today as fresh updates drop from the Medical Counseling Committee. We have a lot of ground to cover. Smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and let's dive right into our top story of the day. Segment 1, Oncology Breakthroughs, the FDA fast-tracks ovarian cancer lifeline. Oncology Breakthrough. Transition to graphics displaying the mechanism of the anti-TNFR2 antibody. Host. Our lead story today centers on a massive win for women's healthcare and oncology. Yesterday afternoon, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, officially granted fast-track designation to BioInvent International's pioneering therapeutic compound, BI-1808. Now, why is this an absolute game-changer? BI-1808 is a first-in-class anti-TNFR2 antibody. For years, patients presenting with advanced, platinum-resistant ovarian cancer have had staggeringly few clinical options. Historically, when treating this heavy-class patient profile with the standard immunotherapy pembrolizumab, the objective response rate was tragically low. However, newly released interim Phase 2A clinical data presented at the American Society of Clinical Oncology, ASCO, annual meeting has sent shockwaves through the medical community. When researchers combined BI-1808 with pembrolizumab, the therapy produced a confirmed 24% objective response rate and a massive 56% disease control rate in heavily pretreated patients. Let's put that into perspective. It essentially triples the historical performance rate of pembrolizumab when used entirely on its own. By targeting tumor necrosis factor receptor 2, TNFR2, this new antibody blocks the immunosuppressive pathways that cancer cells use to hide from our body's defense mechanisms. The FDA's fast-track designation means the development and review of this drug combination will be accelerated, offering a critical lifeline to thousands of women worldwide much sooner than standard regulatory timelines would normally allow. But that is not all for oncology this week. A separate, highly fascinating study published in peer-reviewed journals just days ago reveals that a common dietary sugar, fructose, might actually be a primary fuel source helping surviving ovarian cancer cells break loose, escape chemotherapy, and metastasize throughout the body. Researchers note that this opens up a brand new therapeutic window where metabolic interventions and specific dietary controls could drastically inhibit cancer recurrence. Segment 2, Global Health Policy, the WHO sounds the alarm on the hidden cost of cancer. WHO Cancer Report. Sticking with oncology but shifting to a profound social and economic perspective, the World Health Organization, WHO, has just issued a sobering status report on global cancer care inequities. WHO Director General Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus released a direct statement stating that whether a person survives cancer should never be dictated by where they were born or how much money they earn. The statistics in this new report are incredibly stark. 45% of individuals diagnosed with cancer and their immediate families experience severe financial hardship. Over 50% of cancer patients report experiencing profound, unaddressed mental health challenges. Nearly 100% of family caregivers suffer from extreme emotional strain, unpaid financial burdens, and severe social isolation. The WHO emphasizes that these global inequities are not an inevitable tragedy, they are the direct consequence of systemic political and economic choices. The organization is formally calling on world governments to enact stronger, unified legislation to ensure universal cancer screening, price caps on essential oncology medications, and structured psychological support networks for designated family caregivers. Segment 3, MedTech Spotlight, India Medical Device 2026 and the AI Revolution. India MedTech 2026. Now, let's pivot to major healthcare infrastructure and technology news coming straight out of New Delhi. Today marks the conclusion of the high-profile 9th India Medical Device 2026 conference at Vijayan Bhawan. Union Health and Family Welfare Minister Jagat Prakash Nadda chaired a critical, closed-door CEO roundtable aimed squarely at transforming India into an absolute global hub for high-quality medical device manufacturing and export. The theme dominating the conversations today? Atmanirbhar Medtech, accelerating India's journey towards Viksit Bharat. The roundtable brought together top-tier global medical tech CEOs and senior government regulators to address major vulnerabilities in the global medical supply chain. A major point of discussion was a freshly released FICCI report highlighting a massive blind spot in medical safety. Currently, an estimated 30% to 40% of all medical device maintenance in India is being performed by entirely unregulated service providers. Even worse, 45% of Tier 2 and Tier 3 hospitals admitted to using these uncertified providers within the last year. 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 The report directly traced several severe medical misdiagnoses and terrifying intraoperative equipment failures directly back to uncertified servicing and counterfeit components. Because India currently lacks a national certification registry for medical service engineers, Minister Nadda announced today that the government is fast-tracking a rigorous regulatory framework to standardize medical AI applications, device servicing, and part manufacturing. Segment 4, Public Health and Medical Controversies, the Battle over Medical Admissions. Medical Education Crunch. For the students, resident doctors, and healthcare professionals watching, the administrative landscape of medical education has been pure chaos over the last 48 hours. Let's break down exactly what is happening in the courts and counseling halls today. First up, the NEET UG 2026 counseling window has triggered mass confusion. The Medical Counseling Committee, MCC, abruptly postponed the round 1 choice filling window to today, August 8, at 12 o'clock noon. This unexpected delay occurred because the National Medical Commission, NMC, had to push out an urgent, last-minute addendum regarding persons with benchmark disabilities, PWBD. In a massive victory for disability rights advocates, the NMC clarified that eligible medical aspirants will not be denied admission under the PWBD quota simply because they hold a temporary disability certificate rather than a permanent one. However, late last night, the MCC briefly published and then completely deleted a postponement notice without a word of explanation, leaving lots of students aggressively refreshing their browsers today to secure their MBBS and BDS choice locking. At the exact same time, data presented by the Union Health Ministry in the Lok Sabha today revealed a staggering statistic. The number of NEET UG medical aspirants has skyrocketed by a massive 42% over the last 7 years, officially crossing the 20 lakh student mark this year. While India has rapidly expanded its infrastructure to 846 medical colleges, the level of competition has reached unprecedented heights. Meanwhile, the National Board of Examinations, NBEMS, has officially stepped in to control a massive controversy surrounding the FMGE June 2026 examination. Following intense student protests at Jantar Mantar on August 3 demanding transparency, the NBE has officially formed an independent, three-member expert panel to thoroughly investigate student grievances and has agreed to release the official exam answer key immediately following the review. And down in Maharashtra, the Bombay High Court took decisive suo motu cognizance of public healthcare disruptions, leading the Indian Medical Association (IMA) to officially withdraw its statewide resident doctor strike, completely restoring essential medical services across the state today. Segment 5: Clinical Research, Once-Weekly Insulin, Cancer-Fighting Gum, and AI Bias. Clinical Research Update. Let's move into our clinical research roundup, where we look at the pure science altering patient care at the bedside. First, let's talk about a major breakthrough for diabetes management that has just rolled out. For millions of adults living with type 1 and type 2 diabetes, the dread of daily needle pricks is a massive barrier to therapy. Pharmaceutical giant Novo Nordisk has officially launched Weekly, the very first once-weekly basal insulin icodec injection. Backed by clinical trials involving over 4,000 adults, this treatment drops a patient's injection frequency from 365 times a year down to just 52 times, while delivering vastly superior HbA1c reductions compared to daily options. Leading endocrinologists are hailing this as a massive step forward in patient compliance and quality of life. A sleek graphic comparing 365 daily injections versus 52 weekly injections. Next up, can you imagine fighting cancer with a piece of chewing gum? A stunning new study published this week has demonstrated a specially engineered cancer-fighting chewing gum that successfully reduced HPV levels in the oral cavity by up to 93%. By binding to the virus and eliminating specific pathogenic bacteria linked directly to head and neck cancers, this non-invasive gum entirely preserves the mouth's beneficial microbiome. This could completely revolutionize preventative oncology for high-risk populations. However, it is not all good news in medical technology. A critical study evaluating advanced generative AI models in clinical diagnostics was published last night. The findings? Despite massive computational updates, the newest AI medical models are still actively reproducing deep-seated racial and gender stereotypes in medicine. When presented with identical symptoms across different demographics, the AI models frequently misdiagnosed minority groups or minimized pain metrics, proving that clinical AI tools still require heavy human oversight before they can be safely trusted to make standalone diagnostic decisions. Segment 6: Rapid Fire Health Roundup, Global Health Bulletins. Time for our global rapid fire roundup of stories making waves around the world today. International Ophthalmology Day 2026. Today, August 8th, marks International Ophthalmology Day. Medical centers globally are running massive awareness campaigns emphasizing early screening for glaucoma and cataracts, reminding us that early optic nerve damage can develop completely undetected without regular checkups. Ebola screenings in the DRC. Out in Africa, Congolese health authorities have just launched an urgent emergency screening operation, intercepting a river boat carrying over 300 passengers near Kinshasa after a passenger tragically died on board from a highly suspected case of the Ebola virus. Military Medicine Revolution. The Australian government's Joint Health Command has officially unveiled JP2060 Phase 3, a highly advanced, rapidly deployable modular health facility designed to deliver elite-level trauma and surgical care to soldiers anywhere on the globe during independent or coalition defense operations. Environmental health warning. A massive multi-state study in the U.S. has officially named wildfires as the absolute dominant contributor to toxic air pollution for pregnant women, linking the fine particulate matter to increased risks of premature births and gestational complications. Upgrade your stress skills. If you drink, smoke, or overeat when you're under the gun, that can make your blood pressure go up. Try yoga, deep breathing, or meditation and exercise instead. It's also healthy to say no to requests that could make your life too hectic. WebMD. Clean catheterization. Catheterization was non-inferior to sterile catheterization in rates of suspected catheter-associated urinary tract infections, UTIs, star. The clean technique reduced the carbon footprint of catheterization sets by more than 70% compared with sterile methods. Medscape. Fibromyalgia. A genome-wide association study, GWAS, meta-analysis of fibromyalgia cases in control individuals identified 26 genetic risk loci for fibromyalgia, with the strongest association observed with a coding variant in the Huntington, HTT, gene. Fibromyalgia heritability was enriched within brain tissues and neural cell types, with genetic correlations with pain and musculoskeletal disorders, autoimmune disorders, and mental and behavioral disorders. Medscape. Outro. That wraps up your comprehensive medical news update for this Saturday, August 8, 2026. The world of medicine is moving faster than ever, and we are dedicated to bringing you the precise science and policy changes as they happen. I want to hear from you in the comments section below. What are your thoughts on a once-weekly insulin injection replacing the daily routine? If you are a medical student, how are you navigating the NET counseling delays today? Let's get a conversation going down below. Don't forget to give this video a massive thumbs up if you found it valuable, share it with a colleague or a fellow student, and make sure you are subscribed for your daily dose of global health breakthroughs. Thank you so much for watching, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next video. Disclaimer: compiled information. This content is for educational purposes and is not a substitute for professional advice. The audience must verify the contents before use. The creator, publisher, and YouTube will not be responsible for any harm. Oh.